Hello everybody, welcome back to Memory Gamma. Today we're going to do another look at some of the newer rules and extra things that go alongside the game. We're going to talk through them. I'm going to give you the rules card for them, and I'm going to give you the upgrades that use them and just talk through how they are used. So today we're going to look at two new actions that were introduced in the most recent expansion packs, which are the sort of 10-year anniversary ones. So these are Tractor and Transport. Now, transporting already existed throughout certain cards, shout out to Maltz, through also Emergency Transporter, Transporter Room. The ability to swap crew upgrades is not a new idea, but this is an actual action that's added to the action bar that allows you to do it. Tractor Beam is one that allows you to move other ships around when it's your action. Again, added to the action bar. So I'm going to bring up on here. So as we can see here in the middle, this is the actions card that came with the pack. So it shows the two new action bar actions listed from upgrades, Transport and Tractor Beam. So the Transport action, as it says here, target this ship and another friendly ship at range 1 to 2. You must both disable 2 active shields if you have more, otherwise it disables all remaining. And you can either move one crew upgrade from one ship to the other or swap an upgrade over. Now, redeploying a crew upgrade from one ship to the other, there has to be a crew slot available for the crew to move. So if your ship contains natively 3 crew slots, if when you do this action you have more than 3 crew upgrades on board, you can't redeploy someone onto your ship. Additional slots granted to you throughout the fleet building process via, say, Ezri Dax or Riker or anything like that do not count once you're in game. They are only there for fleet building. Once you're in the game, you use what's printed on your upgrade bar as how many slots you've got. So, you start with 3. If you've got 4 upgrades on the ship, you can't redeploy someone to your ship. However, swapping is fine because that's just swapping a crew over. So it's a nice way of transferring crew over to people. It's a way of being able to keep your, if you think your ship's about to get destroyed, or if you realise that, if your crew upgrade was on ship A to help with a combo and that combo is now dead, you can move crew member over to ship B because he might be able to help that combo. A good example would be, for example, Ezri or Julian Bashir, both of which allow you to speed up time token removal on friendly crew. Moving them around your fleet might be really useful. And then Tractor Beam. This is an action. Target a ship with the printed hull value equal to or less than your ship within range 1 of you. Place the 1-speed maneuver template, so the little 1 inch long, 1 bit wide template, alongside either any side of that ship's base, so left or right, front or back, and then move the ship to the other side of that token, whichever way it was directed, as long as it doesn't overlap anybody else or an obstacle. So the ships come in, it's right next to you here. You can put the token here and then move it either closer to you, further away from you, front or back. So it's good control, and it doesn't have to be a friendly ship, obviously, so you can do it to an enemy ship. So you can go Tractor Beam action and pull it back and pull the ship away from you. So, or pull the ship towards you. If it's trying to escape, you can pull it in close. Or you might want to push it further away. I can see ways that you might want to, well, tell you what, I'll do a little build with that rather than going off on all the abilities. So I'm going to keep this in the background. And then we're going to go very quickly. Let's go. The first one that pops into my head was the Enterprise E. So, torpedoes without requiring target lock. So, let's go with a set of Sovereign Continental torpedoes, and we're going to put Enhanced Tractor Emitters. Now, both of these new actions are not on any ship's action bars at the moment. Hopefully moving forward we might see some new ships that have got them printed on the action bar. At the moment they are only added by these upgrades, tech upgrades. So Enhanced Tractor Emitters adds the tractor action to the ship's action bar, And after you perform the tractor action, you can disable the card to give that ship either an evade token or an auxiliary power token. So if you target a friendly ship, you can give them an evade token, make them more survivable. If it's an enemy ship, you can give them an aux power token. There might be some situations where you might want to give your friendly ship an aux power token so it can trigger an ability. But what I'm thinking here is, something popped into my head, Enterprise E does its move, the ship that it wants to fire its quantum torpedoes at is in its forward firing arc, but it's at range 1 because of where it went, and you go, I can't fire quantums now. So you use the tractor action, push the ship away from you to put it into the range 2 band, give it an aux power token just to be annoying, and then you can fire the quantum torpedoes because you're now at range 2. So that's a way you might want to use it offensively to put them in a good position. You might want to, for example, if you haven't moved yet, so if they haven't moved yet, sorry, so this is very good on a low captain skill as well. Put this on a captain skill 2 or 3 and run up to an enemy ship. And again, it's equal to or less than, so the Defiant could use the tractor beam emitter to grab a Burrell. You know, it screams up and grabs a Burrell, and it'll move the Burrell sideways by 1. Knowing that now it has to make its move, since it hasn't moved yet, from its new position, which could mean it ends up crashing or be out of position. So the tractor beam has a lot of potential. Again, you don't have to disable the car when you do this. You don't have to use that ability if you don't want to. You can just 2 points to add the tractor action to the action bar. Now, there is something I do want to do very quickly. I'm going to put up a Herosian ship just because I want to see something. Okay. So the Herosian Hunter has a free action. You may use the action on a tractor beam upgrade equipped to it. So you can't use the Herosian Hunter to do the tractor action as a free action because he only allows you to use the action on a tractor beam upgrade. So, okay. I wasn't sure of the wording, so I thought I'd check, and now you've got to see my working. So that's a combination that doesn't work. There. But no, so you could use the tractor beam said to push them out of range 1 to get you to range 2 so you can make a shot. You could use them to drag them into position so they're in a better firing arc for a friend. You could use it on a ship that hasn't moved yet to, well, bugger up where it's going to go, make it crash into something or make it whatever. Or even, for example, if you've targeted, say for example, a Klingon bird of prey, you know, and you're pretty sure he's done a come about maneuver. Red 3. You tractor beam him, move him sideways, then give him an aux power token. When he comes to move, he's now revealed a red maneuver while he has an auxiliary power token, which means he doesn't get to do that maneuver. So there is ways you can do that to make it quite effective, and that's quite a nice ability to be able to have. Of course, since it's an action on your action bar, it is going to be your action. So of course you are going to want to, unless your entire thing is just to have a ship that just tractors everybody. And nothing wrong with that. You could do something you could do a very, very cheap hull 4 ship, like an Andorian battlecruiser or a Surrock or a Xindi Reptilian ship that costs somewhere between 12 and 15, 16 points. Just hull 4, give it tractor beam, and then it just runs around for the first turn of the game, or the first turn of combat at least. It runs forward and just grabs all of their small ships and throws them out of position. It could also be used to bring a friendly ship closer for its move. So for example, a shuttlecraft, you could use it to bring a shuttlecraft to a different position so it's more able to dock. You could use it on an enemy shuttlecraft to move it further away from the enemy ship to stop it from docking. Again, looking at the House of Maltz and the Weapon Hero. So tractor beam has an awful lot of potential. Now I'm going to bring up someone on here. It's going to look like I'm going, why are you bringing this guy up? But there is a method to my madness. Miles O'Brien. Because he gets to bring the transporter room as a free without taking an upgrade slot. So transporter room, add the transport action to the ship's action bar. Very nice. So, and that allows you, as it said earlier, to either swap 2 crew members over. So, for example, the first ship I thought of, the Da Vinci, and then we'll go with Worf. So, for example, in this situation here, the Enterprise could use the tractor beam action to swap Miles O'Brien and Worf over. Or you could use it to bring Worf over to the Enterprise E because it has a vacant crew slot. However, if you were to go Ezri, so the ship has 2 crew slots. Ezri's given you a 3rd. However, that one only matters for fleet construction. Once you've started the game, only thing that counts is the printed values here. The only thing that would change that is replacement. So, for example, if you had a flagship resource, that replaces. So that the 2 upgrade slots that gives you are counted as added to your base upgrade bar. Same as the stat bonuses it gives you are base bonuses, and then you modify up from there. So in this situation, you couldn't send Worf over to there, but you could use it to swap Worf and Miles around. It also has another ability. Whenever a friendly ship within range would be destroyed, you can discard the transporter room to bring one of the crew upgrades from that ship to your ship, ignoring ship's restrictions. So the ignoring ship's restrictions is the important sentence there. So in this case, the Da Vinci gets itself blown up, at which point you can discard the transporter room to target Worf and bring him over to the Enterprise E, even though the Enterprise E doesn't have technically a slot for him. So, again, now these are both, as you may notice, Federation upgrades. There is a crew member for the transporter and Miles O'Brien. There is no crew action or crew member for the tractor beam. Our hope is that there is more packs on the way, obviously, and we are hoping that as the game continues to grow and more things are brought out, these actions become base action bar actions rather than upgrades that can add them. But what is nice is you can use these to, put this on any ship you like. So, yes, it becomes 3 points if you put it on something non-Federation. But 3 points, it adds a new action. And, for example, another idea I've just had. Aha. So, we're going to go for the Scimitar. Then we're going to go Shinzon. And then we're going to go Enhanced Tractor Emitters. The reason behind that is it adds it to the action bar. Shinzon, as a free action, can perform an action from this ship's action bar as a free action. And with a hull of 7, unless the enemy has bought either a big Borg ship or an oversized ship or weapon 0, everything's equal to or lower than 7. Bioships, aquatic cruisers, Diderodexes, Valdors, all of them are 7 or lower. Weapon 0 is an 8, the big Borg ships are sort of around the 8 mark, an oversized Borg cube, and of course DS9. Not that you can target DS9 or the oversized Borg cube, because it would be a move. They cannot ever be forced to move against their will, so that doesn't work on them, even if you could be a higher hull value. But now you've got the ability to move, do your action, which could be battle stations, and every single round you can tractor and just drag an enemy ship along with you, or a friendly ship up to par. So there's a way you can do it. Now again, that's cross-faction 3 points. You might not think that's very valid. That's perfectly viable. It might not be something you want to do, but it's a very high hull ship, and he gives you the ability to do it as a free action every round. So there's potential. It might also be that you want to, for example, bring a transporter room on a friendly ship with a bunch of crew, load the Scimitar up. So, for example, I'm going to throw on the... And that's a 50-point ship. That ship is maxed out now, so I can't spend any more points in a normal Fremont or even WizKids sort of game store rule, 50-point maximum per ship. I can't spend any more points on this ship, but I want to get some crew upgrades on. So you bring another friendly ship, so a friendly Romulan ship. Just debunk those, and we'll go for, again, probably thinking why don't you just use anything you want, and I probably should really. Okay, let's let's just do Deep Space Nine as the first ship with 2 crew upgrades. And then I put on transporter room. And then you've got 3 crew upgrades, and you can put whatever crew you like on this ship, as long as it doesn't go over the maximum, obviously. But put crew upgrades on this ship, and then you can just use this ship's action to send them over to the Scimitar because he's got crew slots available. So it's a way of getting, not ignoring or getting around, but it's a way of being able to make the most of your ship, even though, said, I've reached the limit on this ship, but I want to put like Navala on here for a bonus captain skill, or a tactical officer for a bonus damage when firing this outside their firing arc, or, you know, someone that I can discard for a bunch of bonuses. Transporter room can send them over 1 by 1. It is 1 by 1, so, you know, it takes some time. It's not something you do in a very small game. You're doing a big game, it might be something you want to consider. Or you spend your first turn transporting over the very important crew to the Scimitar so it gets its combo going, and then you just carry on from there. So, all possibilities. Okay, well, that was a much shorter video. I will bring up the new rules again, just so they're here. So, as I said, these are added to the action bar. They each give you a special action, and you know, they have a lot of potential. I've given you a few ideas here. Obviously, there is many more things you could do. Transporter room could be used, especially on a ship you know is going to get destroyed. It could be used to harvest off crew upgrades that you couldn't send over because there was no room. The tractor beam can be used offensively, as I said, for pushing people into people's firing arcs, pulling them outside your minimum range. It could be pulled ships. You could fire them in front of an obstacle and make them fly through it, or, as I said, do it on a ship that you know has to perform a red maneuver. At which point, and give it an Orcs power token. At which point, then it's buggered for the turn. So, thank you very much for listening to me. I feel like I've rambled on a little bit with this one. A bit of a shorter video this time, so I'm not going to make everyone listen to my voice for ages and ages. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you have listened all the way to the end, if you like the video, please like it. If you want to put a comment, go for it. If you haven't subscribed already, then please do. As I've said before, I am never intending for this to become, you know, my source of income. So I'm not hoping to monetize this by begging for hundreds of subscribers. If I end up getting that, it would be an absolute dream come true. But it's not. I'm not going for, you know, subscribe to me. I'm begging. If you want to, do it. If you don't, no problem. If you are a member of either the Fremont Reformation or the Facebook Star Trek Attack Wing play group, I will be putting links to several of my videos into them, so people that haven't been with me from the beginning can see them fresh, pick them up, and hopefully then look back and watch the rest of them. So, thank you very much for joining me. For the next few weeks worth of updates, there might be a delay in the updates. Simply because at the moment over here in the UK we're experiencing a severe heat wave. It's currently 34 degrees Celsius right now, and it's quite difficult to focus and, you know, remain focused in this sort of heat, especially since I'm in a house which is not has no air conditioning. I have a fan, but I don't particularly want to have a big loud fan going woo in my ear while I'm trying to talk to you lovely people. So for the next sort of like for June and July, the updates might be a little bit slower. I will keep putting videos up. There will still be at least one a week. I know I've been aiming for 2 or 3. You will definitely get 1 a week at least, and I will try and do 2 a week or even 3 if I can, if the weather holds and I'm able to pull myself together for it. But thank you very much for sticking with me, and I will see you in the next video.